Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this would be episode one. No, no, not season one, episode three.
Three.
So,
My God, yeah, we're so messed up.
so,
We just,
so that's where we are.
yeah.
I'm Tengu, and my co-host is Tribe. On one of the sides, I'm not sure which side. It looks like it's on my side, but I'm not sure. So we're gonna. It might be a little shorter than our usual the show. But we'll go through what we can. So what we're talking about today, we're going to talk about a few little things. First of all, Tribe would like to talk about some of her experiences, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about music and stuff like that. So I've been listening to a specific type of music sound, so pretty cool. Eight dimensional audio, which is not really eight dimensional because in theory we couldn't really see eight dimensional or hear eight dimensional like audio or whatever. So yeah, if you want to start with your experiences, that would be cool.
Um, Last time where we left off, there was like I was going through a list of experiences like that I could remember like in order from as I was getting older, but these last two were really really significant in a lot of ways. First, I'll tell you about the dream that I had.
Okay.
The other thing with the it was an Arcturian. It was not a dream. I definitely it's weird when we talk about dreams and stuff. But so I had this dream that and usually whenever I'm dreaming, I'm lucid most of the time, but I can see things very clearly. And I have dreams all the time about being able to fly, always superpowers usually. And my favorite ones are the ones where I can breathe underwater
That would be
because like
cool.
whenever you breathe underwater, it's like even in your subconscious, even in the dream, you're like you kind of become lucid because you're like, how am I doing this? Like I'm breathing, underwater. So the important thing about this dream, it was a deja vu, and that's what made it so significant for me.
Oh,
And a lot of people think deja vu. I mean, I'm not really sure what it is, but like people say, I have a dream that happens later in life or later on. I don't think that's deja vu. I think
yeah.
something else. I don't know if you can call that like a premonition in a dream or something like that. But deja vu to me is like an overlapping in dimensional time or something where like I don't know, where you synchronize maybe with another version of yourself.
Oh, whoa. It's interesting.
Yeah. So, but whenever a deja vu happens, you know what it feels like. It's kind of like I know exactly what's happening. You almost like stop because you already know it's going to happen, like because it's already happened before. That's why people think, oh, it was a dream, but I don't think I've dreamt all these things. But
Hmm.
this was a dream, and in the dream, very basic because I was young and stuff. All I remember is I was in crystal clear blue water, and I was. I mean, there was a lot of. I mean, I wish like you could touch somebody to show them, but like it was so vast and blue and crystal, so like you could see for a long distances. But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
I don't know what type of if I was in my regular body or what. I didn't pay attention to that too much, but because it was a dream, of course, the first time. Um, but I looked below me, and it was me and a bunch of other people like me. I could see coming up from something down in the ocean. We were definitely rising up from something in the ocean, but like it wasn't just us. There was this is so crazy. Yeah, have you ever watched Atlantis? Like literally the Disney movie Atlantis.
No, I haven't actually. I
Um,
didn't know there was one.
it's a really good movie, but there's these they power like their stuff with this like energy. But anyway, there's they're like the Eastern Islands statues. That's how I can describe
Oh,
it.
the
But
Easter Island statues. Yeah, I know them.
yeah, but these ones like were swimming up with us, but they weren't human. Um,
Oh, so were they stone looking or were they?
yeah, they were either mechanical or stone, and, and that's what like I was like tripped out because it happens in a dream, and then this is what is even crazy. In the deja vu, I say, okay, the dream happened, and I'm already lucid, and I'm like, holy crap, and I'm looking down, and I'm like so excited, I'm pulling myself out of this dream because that's usually what happens. And as soon as it was over, boom, it replayed, and I'm like back at the beginning of the dream where like I remember
Oh,
consciousness, and then I'm like, bro, I was just here in here, and I was looking around like I know what's going on, and then I just wake up again. I don't know what that was, but it just felt so insane. Like who has a dream inside of a dream, and it just like
oh, that's like oh, there was a movie I can't remember what it's called where they were in a dream and
yeah,
they knew they were in the dream. Interstellar, is the top yeah, and they were a dream within a dream within a dream. It's so crazy because
yeah, Inception. It's one of my favorite movies.
Inception. That's it. Yes, yeah. Jesus, whoa, that's cool. Like it's a deja vu within a dream, so you do repeating the theme.
Yeah,
It,
it was. But I'm telling you, like it was crazy. Especially if you lucid dream and then like because like I was already aware the first time, but then the second time, like I'm not even aware that I'm dreaming. I'm aware that I just like experienced this dream. I don't know. It just blew my mind. And then a second
Interstellar.
experience I'll talk about before I get to my extraterrestrial
Oh
experience.
yeah. No, I want to
Um,
have a quick. These are the what are they called? The Arcturians.
Arcturians, yeah.
So I didn't. I'm sorry to interrupt here. I never heard of those before I talked to you, and I've ne like they're very unusual. Like they seem to be rare, I guess you could say. But yeah, if you want to go on and talk about that experience.
Yeah, the thing about me is I love, alien topics and stuff, but I'm not one of those people who's like, I know where I'm from. Like, I'm a Pleiadian or I'm from this star system. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know. Like, I'm like here now and I know I'm connected to something else. Arcturian, the way I stumbled upon it, well, of course, it was because of the experience, but I had no idea. Like, I know species of aliens existed, but like, I never felt it like contact with like a specific species. Like I just knew reptilians, greys, and stuff like that. But well, this was not a dream. So I'm gonna explain this like in a very vivid detail the best way I can. Because I was just laying in my bed and I don't know if I was meditating or dreaming, but all of a sudden, all I can like explain it feeling like it's like a glitch. Like I glitched up and I think I'm pretty sure my body stayed in my bed. They didn't teleport me.
Oh,
Usually
like an
they get
outer body experience.
they can pull my consciousness out of my body. That's what I'm thinking happened. So I believe my body was still in bed, especially because like the way it felt. Like I don't even know. It felt like I like was squeezed in and pushed up like the way it was. And as I'm coming to, like I don't even know how long this experience lasted. It is very fuzzy. I felt like a fisheye. If you know what the like the filter fisheye looks like.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
So it was kind of like that, and my like everything was blurry around my peripherals. So whenever I got in there, it was like that, and I could hardly see. But like one thing that was really crazy is the buzzing I could feel. Like um I could feel a vibration
Oh.
playing this like so and this only felt like a few minute dream. But anyway, like I remember looking to the right before I saw that entity. And the way these crafts are, I don't know I know I was in a craft and I was traveling because whenever I looked to the right, it's so Star Trek and sci-fi, but literally I could see it. I was going so fast. We were going so fast, but we were still. It was like
Was there windows or it
nothing.
was oh
It, because I looked out and I can tell we're fucking zooming, and there's no like. It's just like nothing. But you could
like
see like
warp speed in Star Trek.
you could see stars like just like in warp. When you warp drive and the stars like stretch, it literally looked like that. So like I'm like feeling this very uncomfortable feeling of vibration. I don't know what's going on, like and what happened. So I just turned my head and all I remember is, and I can't even tell you what color they were. Very tall, and this is what I had to go off of because I was like, "Who? What was that?" So
Oh, that was frightening.
I typed like this stuff. Hold on. I typed certain things into Google just to like see if I could find a match. So anyway, and during whenever I looked ahead, it was still like very fuzzy. Like I could hardly see. It was like it was affecting me. But when I saw the entity, it was very very tall, and it had like a a gray alien or a gray alien type head. If you look up, I wish we could show pictures of the Arcturians, but they're like tall grays. Um, but like
Their skin is a different color, isn't it? It's
yeah,
like it's purple.
yeah. I don't know what color the skin was because
Hmm.
I don't remember, and I don't want to like put in things and say it was. But usually, yeah, they are blue colored beings and stuff. They look different from small grays and everything. They're very beautiful, but as I'm coming near this, like, because I felt like a fish eye, like a ball, and I wasn't in my body. But this is so weird. As I got closer, I was thinking, why am I not freaking out? That's the only thing, like, one of the things I could think of. Because, like, I know, like, it's real, it's happening. I'm like, oh my God, I'm meeting an alien. And I'm like, why am I not freaking out? Why? Like, I just felt so safe. And it's weird because a lot of people say sometimes in the presence of these things, they feel love. I could not be afraid if I wanted to because of the energy that this thing was coming off. But I saw its silhouette and everything. I wish I could remember more what space looked like. Very tall, but distinguished cape.
Cape, yeah, that's the one thing you said. The cape, like some sort of like there's a character in some movie or TV show. I'm not sure.
Mega mind.
Yes, they had the cape with the little thing like Dracula.
Yeah, literally, and he could have been an Arcturian because he has blue skin too, tall, and
Hmm.
I was like, what the heck? But as this is going, um, not like we're not saying anything, of course, and nobody's talking. It's just like a fast experience, and I'm just like, just trying to take it all in, and it feels like love, and I'm like, why am I not freaking out? And I'm like, what is this? Like, and I'm paying attention, like I'm going so fast, like holy crap! And then this thing just puts out its hand like this, and like, what do you do when something does that?
How many
I
fingers did it have?
I don't
Okay,
I don't remember, but I think maybe just five, either
same as
five,
us.
five or six
Oh,
fingers. But
okay.
um, so it reached out its hand, and I, in return, like no fear, nothing, like put my hand on top of theirs, and then one thing people have told me my whole life is like I have very soft skin. I don't know why, but I said this in the dream, and then like this was insane. I said your skin is very soft, and then I tell you this, I don't know what it did to me, but it sent a fucking shock vibration through me. Like it almost hurt. But I don't
Oh,
know. It didn't. It wasn't trying to hurt me or anything. But coming in contact with beings like that, it like you could even hear about it. I'm telling you, like it was like as we touched and everything, like it was like It was like zzz, for literally. And the interesting thing about that is I didn't have a body. And the next thing I'm going to tell you about other experiences, it's crazy how your mind is because, like I said, I was in fisheye. Like I don't remember having a form until it stuck its hand out, and then I was able to reach my hand out. But it's not like I saw anything with that. That was really really interesting. But that is so deep within me and something like I try to think about every day. And it was whenever I was younger, and I really do think that it was a version of I think it was me for some reason. I mean, not a lot of people say that, but I just the feeling I felt so safe. I don't even know. I feel like it was me. I don't know what that was for or anything, but that was insane. And then uh, the last experience, this is pretty much where I realized that matter nothing. Well, not I don't even know how to explain this. Like there's nothing material, and this is I'm just going to explain this really
Oh
simple
yeah, yeah.
into video game terms a little bit because it happened like a video game experience. I just want everybody to know I was not on drugs during these experiences. This one was so weird, and I haven't been able to do it again. And I'm kind of weird to talk about it because it honestly could be a ability, but whatever. So I was just sitting on my bed, and I'm usually listening to music. I don't know what I did, but all I remember is sitting on my futon, and then I put my head on my pillow, and literally like that, I was loaded. And I'll say loaded because it was like I was there, and then I was in this vast area. It had mountains, but like the way I can describe it, if you've ever played The Legend of Zelda and you went into the fairy fountains, the
Yeah.
water goes on for a very long time. You know what I mean? And like, there's not a lot of water on top, but just enough to like you could splash and your feet are under it. So whenever I like loaded in, I realized like it was crazy because everything was very very vibrant and bright, and I knew what had just happened. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Where am I? And as I'm like coming to, the sun is like not burning my eyes, but like just like the sun here would. I'm like, you know, when I came into, I was like, what the heck? Not with my actual hands. I don't remember
Hmm.
doing my hands, but like I know that I was having physical or yeah sensations and everything like that. And um, so I'm just looking around and taking it all in because I'm like, I really don't know what happened. I feel like I'm a jumper, and I just jumped wherever I am. I might be in another dimension. I don't know. It was like being in a loading screen because it was very bad. Like it was like being in like a loading screen because like it went on for a long time. And I was like, see sun mountains and stuff, but I could feel myself being pulled back. Like, and you can feel this in dreams when you become lucid. You want to try to not like it happen, but even then, it like happened so fast. So the only thing that I could think of so fast was I was like all of this seems real. I don't understand. Am I going to go back to where like my bed? So to make it more real for me, um, I didn't remember whenever I was in there having a body, but whenever like I was like getting pulled out, I looked down and I saw my feet and I wiggled them in the water, and I just like bent down as it's like pulling me back, and I like got water in my hand and splashed it on my face, and it was wet. It
Wow.
was, and then boom, I'm back, and I sat there just like I I cried for a little bit because I was like, it's like everything matters, but nothing matters. That was so real to me. Whatever had happened, I was in a different place. The sensations, everything. So what makes like this so much different? And there has to be other like. So it just made me come to peace with reality a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah, that was really something intense, and sometimes I'm afraid it's gonna happen again, and I don't know like what I would do. But yeah, those were just like a few of the things I'm going to talk about that really changed me. And that one with the Arcturian, I don't know. All I can do is like wonder about that, but I do feel like as if I have a guides, and I
Hmm.
always think of whoever that was like as one of my guides. You know, in some experiences, I could have been on many experiences, and that's just one that
Stuck.
allowed to remember.
Hmm.
But it was crazy. I just want to say about one with the alien. Whenever like I came back to my bed, it was like I was like in like a sound effect. It was like zoof, like it felt like a glitch. Like if you could feel what a glitch is like
Hmm.
if I was here glitching, like I went back into my bed and I felt like I was like separate, but then I came back into pieces. And maybe that's what it feels like when you're like, how do they get your, if they do get your body up there, like they have to dematerialize you or something in some way, unless they're like floating you out of the window physically and into a craft, or they're just, I don't know, somehow doing it through mind. But it was
Hmm.
just like, I don't know if it was my consciousness, entering my body back. Cause like I said, I feel like my body was still in the bed, but like you could feel, I felt myself go out and I felt myself come back in, which was crazy. And then whatever that vibrating was, it was
I,
like,
yeah, that's incredible. I've never experienced anything. Well, I can't really meditate. I don't. My mind doesn't. It keeps running crazy if I try and meditate every single time. So
yeah,
I never had kind of weird experiences that I did have. I did told you about that weird dream with that weird thing with the universe as the face.
yeah,
And that was the only weird experience, this hooded thing. And it was just like a galaxy on the face, and it just said one thing, and I woke up. So that was just a weird one.
yeah. That was interesting. Came across the being that had the face of the universe, and it said,
Yeah, I don't even know I've looked that up, and I can't find out what they are.
I don't know, but I started seeing like pictures, even
Hmm.
ones like I sent you a few. But where I've seen that before, have you ever watched Lost in Space?
Yeah, the robot. But the
Remind
robot, yeah, it was the only thing that was similar.
Yeah, like how it can make like it look like the universe, and you could kind of
Yeah,
see it by, but
yeah,
like the thing of your background and stuff.
it's just it's a weird. That was a weird and the only kind of unusual weird experience I had. Have you have any more or
Uh, Short ones, like small ones that I can tell
okay?
you about. Another odd. I don't think this was an audio hallucination. This one.
Hmm.
Uh, Freaked me out. But I thought if I was something that was out there flying around, I'd probably do the same thing it did to me. But how I had my bed, it was like the window literally was right behind me, and like
Uh-huh.
lay my head back, and I would open the window sometimes, and I remember like laying back, and I had the window open, and usually I don't for like there's a screen or something there. I think I broke the screen, and I was already uncomfortable like just having the window open there, but I was sitting there, and I shit you not, something fucking screamed. It wasn't a scream like a human being. It was a creature. Like
Oh.
all I heard, like it was a growl or like a. I'm not even gonna try to replicate it because it was just like it scared me. It was loud, and I don't know if it was an audio hallucination,
Hmm.
but I felt more like something was passing by my window and just fucked with me real quick. Like it was, you know what I mean? That's exactly.
It's it's like funny you should say that. It's like that weird little cryptid I wanted. Well, not little, the cryptid I wanted to talk about. We're on 27 minutes now. So what I might do is when we stop this, I might put it as an intermission and see if I can do the thing again. I'll see if it's possible. Because then we can continue on. I'm not entirely sure. But because you said it at the screen, that was actually a nice kind of way to lead into this. So I just wanted to have a quick little discussion about. So I played Fallout 76, and Fallout is based in Appalachia. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. I don't know how it's pronounced. And there's all in that game. There's all you always see cryptids. So there's one cryptid in it. It's only recent enough called the Blue Devil. So this one is a very interesting one. As you said, something like a scream. So the Blue Devil was supposed to have been witnessed in 1939 to 1940. I wonder if that's around the same time that all those red alien stuff happened, but I'm not entirely sure. With Roswell, or was that literally later on? But just I
Yeah.
think in the 30s, weird shit was it probably was around that time frame. So basically, this is supposed. This is apparently this thing was spotted in the triangle of hills between the town of Jumbo, which is a great name, Jumbo, in the Grassy Creek in Webster County, and that is in West Virginia and probably Appalachia. So basically, a couple of people reported they sighted this thing they called the Blue Devil. And the reason it was called the Blue Devil is because it was like, it had a blue tint to its kind of fur. This is between
Mhm.
1939 and 1940, only about a year. Like, yeah, it's not a long time. So they said it was a bluish creature, dog-like creature, larger than a pony, so it's pretty big anyway, that prowled the area late at night and emitted a ghostly kind of howl. According to many in Webster County, the animal was responsible for the deaths of growing number of livestock. So they were saying like it killed a load of cows and stuff, sheep, I guess, over a period, like a wolf. Well, description of it is very wolf-like, as what I'm reading here. They're saying it stalked the land. Eventually, the creature began making appearances in neighborhoods in Rudolph County. These are all places in the state in Valleyhead Road and okay, the Valleyhead Road and a gun club, and the gun club offered a reward for killing of it for $400, which would have been about $7,200 today. Anyone in interest to try and catch a glimpse of the creature today, okay, may do so by traveling down this kind of weird. It's just this in Fallout. It's a huge kind of basically a man wolf. It's a werewolf. And it does have a blue tint and it's very fast. That's the description of it. Weird that it only was spotted for a year and they never, there hasn't been anything else since. But a lot of
Mhm.
people in West Virginia say it still exists. And now we're in like 2024. So I just thought that was a really interesting cryptid. I guess if you look it up, it's a blue devil called the blue devil because it's got blue fur and it looked, I don't know, a wolf, but apparently its ears were more kind of pointed, I guess. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was a really interesting one. I just thought I'd bring that up because it was a very interesting little creature. Little, well, if it's bigger than a pony, it's not little.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, especially like whenever it comes to species, like
Mm,
I always say, for every species on Earth, there can and probably is a humanoid version of it out there. So, I mean, you've heard of lyrans, which are the cat people.
hmm
I dog people are called, but I mean, you said this one was I don't. It was a if it was just like attacking what because there's a bunch of different. I just pictured Linda Moulton Howe. I don't know if you know who she
Oh
is.
yeah, I know her. Yeah.
She did all those abductions. So I would just like ask the questions like did it actually kill to eat out of it? Did it kill to suck the blood? If it was livestock was coming up dead, I would be suspicious that yes, something was happening, but in the area they were doing other things to make it look like something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's a weird time frame. What we're gonna do, we're gonna have a little intermission, and then we'll come back with the rest of our story because the timer is popping up. So we're gonna put a little intermission, and we'll be back now in a second. Okay, welcome. Welcome back, everyone. I'm sure you enjoyed the nice picture of the Blue Devil we had there a second ago. So yeah, so we were earlier before the little intermission, we were discussing the cryptid, the Blue Devil. That's just one of many cryptids. Now, I'd like to do a bit more on cryptids. Like we were considering doing one, which would be in future shows on cryptids of our location. Like every place has a cryptid, and the thing
Yeah,
is,
it has decrypted. It's cool. You can like look up, and pictures are really cool. They just have like a picture of the cryptid over the state in the United States. But
yeah, see, the thing is, it's what's weird about cryptids is there's people that do cryptozoology, and that's kind of they look up, they try to find, for example, Bigfoot. Well, Bigfoot's the most famous cryptid that we're aware of. And then there's the Loch Ness monster, but in saying
Moth,
that, hmm?
Mothman's my favorite.
Oh, Mothman, another weirdly Mothman, another one. He's from
Oh,
Appalachia.
is he? Is he?
Yeah, Point Pleasant, Appalachia. Of course they are. It's there's something weird about that place that
The
there's
Appalachian?
some
Yeah, there has to be.
yeah,
There's a,
there's I
a
believe there's a cave system in there that like which brings me to another thing. There's you've heard of there's the goblins. There was a short TV series called Hellier, which they looked at the Hopkinsville Goblin. So the Hopkinsville Goblin is a cryptid. The best description of what a Hopkinsville Goblin looks like. There's a Pokemon with diamond eyes. I can't remember the name of it, but that's based off the Hopkinsville Goblin. Now I would like to do a further podcast on those. But they're like these. They were apparently these little kind of alien creatures with like goblin ears and big eyes, kind of similar to this face here. Apparently,
yeah,
um, they were the Hopkinsville goblins.
that's
But I was
cool.
saying there, like cryptids are a weird one because the people because they haven't discovered a body or corpse or like feces of the creature, doesn't they can't prove it exists or not. But weird, only recently there was two new animals discovered that were thought to be cryptids before, but then they were actually discovered that there's a real animal. So in theory, these could be undiscovered species.
Yeah. I know the Tasmanian devil, which is weird. We talked about
Hmm.
the blue devil. It's or the Tasmanian devil tiger.
The Tasmanian tiger, well, it was people unfortunately made it extinct.
Yeah, but I people think they've seen sightings. And the thing about people, it's funny whenever anyone tries to say this animal is extinct, like you checked everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even like you can't. I don't feel like you somebody can just say yeah they're extinct. You know what I mean? Like shit, a fucking comet hit here, and look what we are. Like you don't, we haven't searched everywhere. But like you said about Bigfoot, and I explained this earlier, like how I've been watching the Skeptical podcast, I think it's called, and
Well, that's a good one.
as a like cryptid people who talk about their experiences, and yeah, this one dude was describing Bigfoot definitely like he's of course wouldn't like speak unless it had to, but very telepathic. Um, I guess they were following it through the woods. I don't know if they were hunting it or what, but that's one thing which is really sad. And I'm so glad they'll never catch their hands on a Bigfoot because I feel like they're multidimensional. Like that's why like they appear disappear. Like you'll never catch one. But I guess in this instance they did have rifles, and one of them they said like there's a sulfur smell all the time.
Oh, I was
Um,
gonna say that. Yes, there's sulfur. Yeah.
so like they kept saying they heard it around them, like, and they could smell it. And I was just thinking, and so was the person explaining. It was just fucking with them. Like you have to understand the thing is like not stupid, it's fucking with you. So it's probably literally around them. And it maybe it has cooking capabilities, maybe it has shape shifting capabilities. We have no idea. So like they kept on saying it was around us, but we couldn't see it. It only showed itself when it wants to. But I guess one guy went off to like take a shit or something like that and
Hmm.
set it down and no sooner did he look up and there was a Bigfoot. I don't know how tall it had to be. I think this she said like 8 or 9 foot
Yeah,
tall.
they're supposed to be like really tall.
And it didn't, of course, didn't say anything. It just took his rifle and snapped it and walked away.
Hmm.
Come on, that's scary as fucking awesome. I'm like, hell yeah. That's like,
You see, they can also be mistaken for like bears. Like I think a grizzly bear would be the closest, I guess, in comparison size to if it exists. So like there's
yeah. And there's this one story, Bigfoot story, um, where this little kid got lost in the woods. And I don't know how long he was lost in the woods for. I don't know if it was a day, but I believe it was like almost a day because it was like they don't understand how he survived. But anyway, he got his way back, and he said a bear helped him find his way back.
ah.
And he would tell like a bear helped me, a bear, and I don't guess like Bigfoot people came in and like they really think that a Bigfoot helped this child get back. And there are other instances with Bigfoot and children. I'm sure children, of course, they can see, especially at a younger age, more in the light spectrum, just because they're like,
Yeah, that's it. As far as they were concerned, it's a bear based on its size and shape, I guess.
yeah. But
It's an interesting one because there has been it's probably been the most famous because of all the talkings of sightings and footprints and stuff like that, and yet nothing has been found. So who's
mm-hmm.
to say it exists or who to say it doesn't exist? Because if there's such a thing, it could be interdimensional, and if something's interdimensional, it's not gonna it's not gonna leave its food here. It's not gonna leave its feces. I guess it maybe just a temporary rift from where it is it goes to
Mm-hmm.
and gets back. But like that one's a mystery. It's like
Yeah.
the Mothman. The Mothman you were talking is a very strange one. Now, the Mothman is very similar to almost a gray type alien type thing with the big eyes and except it
People,
had
the omen, if you see the
yeah.
moth, usually something bad happens. I forget what bridge, something happened near a bridge
Yeah,
somewhere.
that was in Point Pleasant. The bridge collapsed, and it
Yeah.
was apparently spotted before the bridge collapsed. Now there is some animals that are very large. Like I don't know what there is this one owl. I'm not entirely sure what it's called, but it's huge, and it would be similar in size, but wingspan wise, it would be similar in size to what they
Hmm.
described a Mothman as. But I don't think that particular. I'm not sure what it was, but it's a really interesting animal. It's probably it's a harpy owl. I think they're called.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're quite rare, and I don't know if that would be a native to that. It probably isn't, but the harpy owl is a fascinating looking one as well. And then I'll even say earlier you were talking about your experience that you're at the bottom of the sea. Like we haven't discovered the bottom of the sea. We don't know what's down there. I mean, there's old tales of like sailors would talk about the Kraken. So have you heard the Kraken, which is basically a huge squid type thing that
Mhm.
apparently can sink ships?
And not
And
only that, you would say it, and this is a crazy thing because there's a story about like a Loch Ness monster too traveling through a portal, but like they would say the Kraken almost like, and you would see a vortex, and that's why like in most movies it's so huge that it causes like this. But there are rumors that that also could be multi-dimensional, especially if it's in the ocean because I mean, just from what I've heard, and I believe this, there's more like USOs than wait,
oh yeah, what USO
yeah,
what does that represent?
unidentified.
Unidentified submergible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe there's bases down there for sure. And like I said, my dream, I have no doubt that there are alien civilizations that live. And I've heard whistleblowers talk about them completely separate. They don't want nothing to do with humanity. They've been here like longer than us. Some of them have water technology. Like some of the shit about different species is insane. But like my dream, it did, as corny as it sounds, it does feel like I was in everybody else, that was we were bringing up civilization back up from the depths. And that's
Mm.
exactly what the power of it felt like. We were coming back up from something. Yeah. And those colossal like beings that were like stone that were swimming with us, it was just insane. It was so clear. But
Yeah, I mean that brings us to the subject of like Atlantis. I don't know much about it. Like there like but they could be and they could have been a previous civilization or they could have been an alien civilization. But in saying that, at the bottom of the sea, we have not yet discovered. We've discovered more in space than we have in the bottom of the ocean. I heard somewhere that NASA originally tried to get to the bottom of the ocean, and they just kind of gave up on it after something happened. But no one really knows what exactly happened. They might have experienced something. Which brings us on to that other. There's another subject, kind of a biblical thing called the Leviathan. Have you heard of this one?
yeah.
The
I,
Leviathan, that's like apparently a giant, huge sized serpent that
oh, that's
could,
okay. Serpent. Because I've heard tarot people call some females leviathans. So it makes
yeah,
sense. But I know what you're talking
yeah,
about Subnautica. I've never played it, but like I've seen it.
yeah. The
Yeah.
Leviathan is apparently this huge, like bigger than, as big, huge, so big that it could, if it existed and it did rise, it could wipe out the earth. That's just in biblical text that they talk about the Leviathan, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but maybe like NASA, maybe they discovered something down there that scared them so much.
Well, yeah, and this is actually talked about, and I heard somebody like the dude that it happened with, he talked about it more in depth because they made it sound so much different at first. There was an ocean found under the ocean, and I don't
Hmm.
know like saw about that, but it like whenever you look at the pictures, it looks like literally a whole nother ocean, a whole separate place
Hmm.
instead of like where you already are, like another ocean. Well, the guide says they could not go into that ocean. It was unpenetratable. It's
Oh.
found off of it, and that freaks me out. Oh,
You see, they say the deeper you go down, the water pressure gets heavier and heavier. So in theory, like a submergible device could not get through. Like if it's that, like that's think about it. The weight of if there's an ocean within an ocean, the weight of the ocean, the deeper you go down, there's more pressure and pressure and pressure that
I
our
think it
tech.
was yeah another density. They
Yeah,
would
exactly.
they wouldn't they, you know couldn't go into there because it didn't have the properties to. Because he said you could see it, but you just could not get into it. It looked like a just wall, and you literally bounced off of it.
Oh.
That's trippy as hell.
Yeah, there could be alien technology that could get through that. But then there could be sea creatures that could survive, like those little weird things with the light on their head, the most disturbing looking. You ever see the pictures, the fish? They've
Oh
got
yeah,
these horrible teeth and they've got this little light. Yeah, they're terrifying looking. If
yeah.
that thing is there, I mean, there's probably something else like that, and then
I mean the
you,
bio things down there is insane.
mm,
Yeah, I'm picturing. I don't know what year this was. I think I might have saw on Ancient Aliens, but there's a time where they didn't think a lot was at the bottom of the ocean, but this guy took a ship and they pulled up so much. I forget how long of a voyage it was,
mm,
but I remember like the illustration. I can picture the illustrations in this book. He drew all of this crazy life that he found in the ocean, like, and it was very. Some of it was very geometrical, like plankton or different other creatures like that, and yeah, it's insane. That's one thing about our world when you're approaching it anyway. It's fun because Earth just means dirt, but actually we're a water world more than
mm.
anything. water takes up and there's more water inside than on the outside of the surface.
Yeah, that would be yeah, that would be correct, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and like the ocean is the ocean is terrifying because we just don't know what's there.
Yeah.
And I could only imagine if these weird creatures, like if there's that weird little fish thing, that thing's frightening looking. Hmm?
The kappa.
The
It's a
kappa,
Japanese.
that's a cryptid. Yes, it is. It's like a turtle type thing.
Yeah, I did a. I love talking about the kappa, but there's a mission on Ghost of Tsushima where you do a little mission where you think it's the kappa that like either drowned somebody in water and stuff. But
Yeah, that's a cryptid, and that's a myth that it drowns people, and it's almost like a turtle type thing.
yeah, and then it has a bowl on its head, and it has
Yeah,
if not, it like will die if it doesn't keep a little bit of water. I know, like, so that's the thing. Like, some of these things go back a long time, and like these people aren't making this shit up for no reason. And who's so detailed about that? Like, and it's depicted that way a lot, like a lot. And then it could be symbolism for something, but
mm,
symbolism for it had to have water near it on it, or it would die. They could have been trying to depict it that way, but still,
yeah. That's a really cool one. And when we talk about Japanese have yokai, and that the kappa is a yokai. So and yokai is where Pokemon came from. So they got the idea of Pokemon from the yokai. That's kind
uh,
of how the whole idea came from.
that's smart.
Uh, yeah, so the yokai are kind of they believe that there's loads of spirits, which is really interesting. That they believe there's spirits all around them that can affect. Here's what's so really interesting that can affect us in our present day, and that's ancient Japan talked about this. But then we're talking about like entities, like, and they are. It's a very similar kind of thing in saying that even the name I took Tengu, that's an ancient air spirit, and a martial arts spirit. It's a weird. It has this massive nose.
Because whenever I remember, I generated Tengu tribe,
Uh-huh.
and what came up was this insane, like, yeah, it was like a mask. It
Yeah,
was
I have one of the masks here. It's got a massive nose. It's usually got golden eyes. It has a human face, massive nose, but like almost the body is more bird-like, and they are supposed to be a spirit, an air spirit.
if you type in Tengu, I think on any code, that red emoji will pop up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then you have the Oni, which is another really interesting one. That's the Oni is the kind of I guess they call it. It's like what's Shrek? Shrek is an ogre. Is that what he
Yeah,
is? So the Oni is a type of a Japanese ogre. And that's red in color. It has kind of, but looks more devil-like. That's a really interesting one as well.
yeah.
So there are some kind of yokai Japanese things. I find them really interesting, and I would like to do a bit more.
Yeah. These cultures probably. I would
Mm,
like because I believe in past lives. Like I always joke around that I was a samurai because,
hmm
well, I don't know where I got this from. I've always done it, but I'm not saying it's tied to like because I had a past life. But it is
hmm
weird. I bow to people. I don't know
Oh,
how to like describe that. Like if I'm talking to someone or saying goodbye or thank you.
oh, that's
I
interesting.
no, I it's always been automatic, and I feel weird when I do it too because people will be like, but it's just like I go like this, not like crazy, but like
Oh,
I've always done it, especially like to because I live in a housing like I'm like around a lot of old people, and I'm not
mhm.
one of the people who respect your elders and stuff. Like I respect you for respect me, but like if anybody that I encounter here, I do have high respect for. Some of them are veterans and stuff like that, but
hmm
so yeah, usually like with old people and stuff like that. I mean,
That's That's a very Japanese thing to do. Like they as in they do. It's really, really, really. It's a. I think it's a very polite. I think it's really nice that they do
Yeah,
it. It's a very
yeah,
polite kind of a way to do things.
yeah. And I think people like they realize. I guess since not a lot of people do it, I feel like they see it as oh respectful. I hope I don't look freaking weird. Like no, but
But
when I
yeah, but it's like it's subconscious. So like past life.
I can't even help it. Like what's really funny is whenever I do order like this is different, but Chinese food.
Mhm,
Um, so I do that, and then he'll do it, and then like it's just this thing because he's, I mean, not used to. He does it naturally,
mhm.
But like I just do it because I do it. I only ordered Chinese a few times here, so like at the door, like we both bow, like we're like both,
Oh, that's interesting.
because thank you,
Well,
and they're,
Asian culture in general is kind of like Asian
they're
culture, Japan, China, Korea would all be similar in that kind of way that they would bow. I'm not saying they're the same because they really don't like each other. And so between China, Japan, Korea, there's a dislike. I think that goes
yeah,
back to World War II. But that's a long, long kind of whole story, and that's not something we talk about in our podcast. That's history, and that's not our history. That's our history, but it's not something we talk about in the podcast.
I do
On
want to.
the mhm,
Oh, whenever I was in college, I had a class in ancient Egypt in um about or a class like it was an Egyptian class, and we were just like discussing the pyramids and who built them. And there was because like I went Altoona, Penn State, Altoona. So like a lot of people come here before they go to Maine State College is literally like
mhm,
right there. So there's like a lot of diversity, but there's this Japanese kid, and this was whenever I was still figuring it out, and I was really into Egypt, and he was talking, and he definitely believed that he it was not like a descendant of like any Egyptian thing, you know what I mean? Like, and then he described, and then I watched like some some of them say they're, and this is not just with Japanese people, they're descendants of dragons. uh, some of the like, and that's why there's more rollers. And then if you think about reptilians and
it's fascinating.
the
Yeah, there's
royal
there's a link.
family, they they call them the blue bloods, and sometimes because like they say that,
Royal blood. Yeah, blue blood, royal blood. Yeah.
and that's the only reason that they're royal. Like, why did royal come into? Of course, you have to have a royal bloodline, but like, what is so great about their blood? So that had to have stemmed from something. But like, yeah, I think that's
Yeah, yeah, that's it, blue blooded. That's true. It goes the way, way, way back, like royal blood. Like if the reptilians seem to be like a dominant if species of sorts, but we can discuss a bit more about them at a later stage because we're getting close to the end of the show. So what I wanted to do is before we go, I just wanted to have a quick talk about I've started listening to 8D, eight dimensional music. So this is something I discovered which I would never have paid any attention to before. And it's a simple process. If you know about music and music production, it's simple to make, but the effect is incredible. So I started listening to 80 music when I go to work on the bus and stuff like that. And I kind of, what I've noticed, it kind of just takes me out of, like, I don't see, well, I don't pay heed to anyone else that's around. And I'm focusing on the music. So what 8D music is essentially is it pans the music from one side to the other, which gives the effect that you're in a kind of a hall. Now,
space spaceship.
yeah, yeah, and like I don't have I'm not diagnosed with like ADHD or anything like that, but apparently this helps people with ADHD. And by listening to that, it was just like I was in a kind of almost like in the closest thing I can say to a meditative state by listening to that. And the music it's like standard music, like you'll have to do like basic songs, like I think there was a Linkin Park song and stuff like that. So
God,
it's not like meditation music, but it just had that weird effect. And I just find that so interesting that the music frequency that would kind of affect how you
I literally was,
observe,
yeah, that's crazy.
which is it's a really interesting. Like if people out there should check it out and have a listen to it and see if you're
Because
ADHD, see if it actually does block. Hmm?
I was gonna say, sorry, I listen to binaural beats like when I go to sleep at night. I'm not listening to a podcast and stuff, but like, yeah, those are different. I'm sure they probably have binaural. Um,
There is, yeah. I've seen some. It was I tried listening to last night and it was a bit weird. The binaural 8D, it was just a bit it was weird. It just felt weird to me. If I listen to a normal binaural beats, it's relaxing. But doing the
yeah,
8D version, it was just a bit it just didn't feel it just felt weird.
no, I could understand because like when you said Linkin Park, automatically I heard what I've done. But I heard the ending of Transformers, the dun, 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 dun,
Mm,
you know, and that would be really cool to like it how it would go from different. You would hear it from different, like over here, done, and it like it's like trippy because it's like
it is so trippy. It literally just if you close your eyes and listen to it, you'd feel like you're in a hall or a church.
yeah,
That kind of it's really it's not like it's different to surround sound. Like surround sound gives you you hear something at the back, you hear something at the front,
yeah,
and that kind of gives you the effect of as if you're in. But it's not that the 8D audio works with normal headphones. You don't need special headphones, and it
yeah,
just does that weird kind of. It's you'd have to just listen to it. It's unusual, and it
yeah.
takes a bit of getting used to. There was one thing on TikTok, someone made a version, their own kind of one of 8D audio, and that kind of got me really into it. And it's really, if I find it, I'll say it, it's really interesting. That one really kind of like, whoa, this one person, she made it, and it just has such a fascinating effect. Now it's been around for 5 years or longer, so it's been around a long time. I just never really discovered it as a system before, so it was pretty cool. Before we go, we just want to say we for last few podcasts we have not paid homage to the Greek gods, and we haven't said fuck you Zeus lately. So I mean that's
Yeah.
just necessary. We have to say Zeus, dickhead, fuck you. Just
Where
because we've never said it, it's like Zeus has been all we always mentioned
one
Zeus.
did it too, one and the same.
So yeah, so. Fuck you, Zeus, you dickhead. Anyway, that's my little rant on Zeus, who's Zeus doing Zeus things. I got protection from all the others. But yeah, a podcast is not a podcast without that.
You know what's really funny about like I watched Hercules because I watched a bunch of Disney movies, and I was so like geeked out by how portrayed Zeus because he's so loving and he's up there with just one wife and he's just trying to get I love you, son, and and I'm like I'm just like trying not to geek out because I'm like, oh god, it's nice to think, but like the story, like
Yeah, as we always say, he was probably the biggest dickhead of them all.
yeah, that's funny.
He definitely was, and that's and weirdly enough, Hades is more like the nicer guy.
Yeah, Hades is so funny too. I love Hades and then the two little things. And then I don't
Yeah.
I forget what her and I always thought she played Persephone, but it's not
Hmm.
Persephone. The girl with the brown hair, but Persephone is what who
Yeah.
caused seasons to change when she
Yeah,
goes
that's
home.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Just ways they did.
It's funny how they from ancient Greek history, we know he wasn't a nice guy. He done horrible things, and and that's why, as always, we say "fuck you, Zeus." So, and I think that's us done. That was pretty good. We have to finish up here, and no, everyone, thank you again. for listening to the show. Like, subscribe really helps to get the show out there, and we will be doing more.
You see how many views like we've been getting? Like I don't even care if people like it, but like our one video, like the first one
It's
had
90
six.
something. Oh, it's 690
Oh,
something now.
dude, I'm like, well, I don't even care if people aren't like. I just wanted to cry. I was like, I don't know. That means so much to me, even if people just like engage. And of course, I do love the likes, but if people are actually listening, that does mean so much
Mhm.
more. Maybe like comment something. I don't know, think of like something we can have people comment like
Yeah.
the Tengu emoji or something like if you
No,
scroll.
that would be a great idea. That would really would. Yeah, so everybody, thanks for listening. That was episode 3. We will be doing another episode again. Oh, that's the new tattoo. Very cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, let's show them off. So I just got my Decepticon finally
Oh, it's really cool.
and my Autobot. So
All
my
of us.
shoulder, yes.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening. So from me, bye and peace out.
See you guys.
See you guys.